Looking to our future, Pikes Peak Region 2030 creates a roadmap to set aside different agendas and chart a course for intercommunity cooperation. Volunteers, professionals, and community leaders from nearly 100 organizations came together on stretch goals and strategies to achieve long-term sustainability for the Pikes Peak region.
You know, sustainability to me means that we have the ability to continue to have the resources that we need on a daily basis, today and then onto generations to come.
We're all working together not only to make a difference for everybody today, but to make a difference for everybody in the future too.
Developing in a way that doesn't inhibit future development. So population is growing, more people are being added to the planet. How are you able to grow smartly, intelligently?
And it's really common sense. I mean, there's not a lot of high tech to it, I think, but just thinking in terms of how we do things and at every step of the process, whether it's personal or business.
Creating a more sustainable Pikes Peak region, I do believe that bicycling is a key component of that. We would have an interconnected series of trails and bike lanes and infrastructure that would allow you from your garage to hop on your bicycle and make it to wherever you happen to want to go that day.
Sustainability to me means when a community comes together to take care of each other in the place that they're at.
By working together, we see how voluntary, non-mandated decisions can lead to projects with impact. The goals are meant to be compatible and work together. The following stories illustrate how the efforts of organizations, businesses, and military institutions are already moving down this road, creating successes across the Pikes Peak region. Our energy goal for 2030 is to have 50% of our energy supplied by renewable or sustainable sources. We'd also like to see a decrease in overall energy use by 20%. Fort Carson has ambitious net zero water, waste, and energy goals.
Since 2003, we've reduced our energy use 13%, and we're currently at about 3.5% renewable. So our net zero goal has us producing as much energy as we use by 2020. Our primary focus is to reduce energy. That's where we get the best bang for our buck. And then the second thing is to meet the balance of our energy requirements with renewable energy.
Building efficiency is key. This is a LEED building. LEED is an acronym for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, which means it uses less water, less energy, and is overall just better built than traditional buildings.
This is the first LEED Gold building in the Army. This building uses 30% less energy than a traditional building. We have some electric vehicles, and what we're doing with those is we're trying to pilot that project in the Army, trying to be the Army's fleet electrification pilot site. We're not only in the Army business, we're also in the energy business.
A built and natural environment goal is that both work to improve the lives of people in this region, and that ecological health is protected and restored with water quality exceeding what's required. This restored section of Fountain Creek along Gold Hill Mesa is not only cleaner and more beautiful, but will serve as a featured and unique amenity for customers and residents as the area is redeveloped. Another goal is for the built environment to promote community, culture, and commerce. Attention to efficiency with connections to the outdoors and natural environment incorporated. New construction and redevelopment accommodate multiple forms of transportation and meet various income levels.
For people that don't know, I mean, this is the old Ivy Wild School. We've been involved in this project for, I think, 3 years now. And we're very passionate about it. For us, it's really a great way to, keep an old building going, keep it from being torn down, to help to revitalize a neighborhood. This neighborhood has such great character, great people, but having an abandoned school in your neighborhood is a challenge. So, it's really exciting to kind of be part of something bigger than ourselves. We're making decisions during the process that are very long term, and that's an interesting thing as you go through business. When we started, we weren't sure whether they're going to be around for 6 months or 6 years, and then when you get to that point where you finally realize, hey, we've got a viable thing here, we're going to be going for a while, you start making those decisions for longer term, and sustainability plays into that even more when you're looking at 15, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. The biggest example of that is reusing an old building as opposed to tearing it down and starting over. But we're also trying to reuse a lot of the materials. We've got piles of different materials all around the property that have been reused, some retaining wall materials in the back. I mean, we really see it as a lot of reused things, and we'd like to bring as much of the history of the neighborhood and also the community into it as possible. And our hope is that this shows other people that, hey, this can really be done, and you could start to see these things happen all over the community. I mean, that's really our ultimate goal long term. I see this going on for, I hope my kids sort of take it over and do something with it.
Another goal is to have arts and culture that are fully integrated and contributing to the social and economic vitality of the region. This means a wide variety of arts, cultural, and entertainment activities which draw innovative companies and young creatives, such as these community art projects created by Concrete Couch using mainly recycled materials. The goal for materials management? A zero-waste future. How do we get there? We work to attain a 70% reduction in waste sent to landfills. We properly manage household hazardous waste and increase drop-offs to the county's household hazardous waste management site. The goal is to have us focus on reduce, reuse, recycle when we make purchases, particularly businesses and public institutions, choosing to use sustainable procurement guidelines.
And recycling plays a really big part in that. If we can reuse the resources, instead of always trying to take from the ground, from the trees, mining bauxite in countries that's not anywhere near us for the aluminum, it's really important that we consider reuse first. And then what we can't reuse, if we can recycle it, that's great. An MRF, or MRF as we like to call it, is a material recovery facility. It's easier said recycling center, but we kind of like that idea of a MRF. The paper, the cardboard, even if you separate clear glass from brown glass, there's so many different ways to calculate value. It's really important to us that we capture as much as we can while being efficient also in our time and not spending too much time on the small things, but focusing more on the large. So we don't separate the paper out, we take it all together.
The economic development goals are to increase prosperity by adding jobs, improving the economic base and overall profitability. We're aiming for diversification and a locally focused economy that reinvests in itself.
Oh, it's huge because we've employed about 25 people. We work with a local program that helps people get back on their feet again, and it's been wonderful. As far as an economic impact, it's about $2 million a year to the region just from the sale of the commodities that we're able to capture out of the facility.
We started it in my apartment, which most people don't recognize, and most of our meetings were at coffee shops. With a few volunteers, and now we have 5 full-time staff, and we're looking to hire more. A community solar garden is basically a bunch of residential systems combined into one large commercial system in which anyone in the community can participate. This Venatucci solar garden was the first like it in the country. There's 300 people who have 2,500 solar panels, and instead of having those panels on the roofs of their houses, they lease panels in a solar garden, and for the next 20 years they're getting the electricity that's generated by those panels fed onto the grid and then metered onto their electric bill through the utility. Every other energy source, oil, gas, coal, has either increased in price or has been fluctuating wildly over the last decade, if not longer. The difference with solar energy is that it's had steady price decreases for the last 30 years.
In 2007, Fort Carson completed the largest solar array in the Army. It's a 2-megawatt solar array. You saw another solar array where we did a carport. What we're doing there is we're driving markets. That 2007 project, since then, the cost of solar has dropped in half, and that was the 7th largest in the United States at the time that it was completed. Today, that wouldn't even rank in a top 100 list.
When you start looking out at planning an energy future for 20 to 50 years in the future, you need to look at those energy sources which are going to be cost effective in the long term.
The education goal is for more people to have access to affordable, lifelong education opportunities, meaning early childhood care and education that are affordable and high quality. All students receive a 21st century K-12 education, and higher education and professional and technical training are increasingly available and accessible.
Going to Colorado College, it's an entrepreneurial school, really taught me how to collaborate with different people, working in different environments, being able to work with people who didn't always see the way that you saw, but finding common ground.
One way schools are attempting to support education is by spending less on utilities. They recognize that they occupy their buildings for a long time, and water-efficient fixtures and landscaping means using and spending less over the long run.
Here at UCCS, we're visiting the Osborne Center for Science and Engineering. This is our flagship academic building, our largest academic building. It's a high-performance building, so it's designed to use about 30% less energy than an equivalent building that wasn't LEED Gold. So this did replace a parking lot that was here previously. Part of the LEED points for this building is that we preserved twice the physical footprint of this building in open space that we'll never build on. As well, you probably see in this shot here is we have a lot of xeriscape plantings around the building. We also got LEED points for that as well. So it's not just the interior of the building, but it's also the exterior of the building that's designed to be as sustainable as possible.
The goal is to meet future water needs with today's water supply. That requires we reuse as much as we can. We use less than 80 gallons per person per day. 80% of commercial customers use best management practices for water efficiency, and landscaping practices are mindful of matching water with intended use. Grescio Housing participated in a Colorado Springs Utilities water conservation retrofit program that's saving them money and making them a stronger nonprofit, able to assist the underserved in our community. The old porcelain fixtures won't go to waste, but will be ground up for use as road building material. The agriculture goal is to provide an opportunity for farmers and producers to profitably provide good, quality food to our region and encourage water-efficient agricultural practices to make sure we have water for years to come. The goal is to protect high-production land, double the number of farmers and producers, and find ways to allow more people the opportunity to grow their own food.
Hi, I'm Linda. I've wanted a garden for a long time and never really had space for one, so I'm so happy to have one at Hug. I've grown so many fruits and vegetables.
We believe that if you serve food that is fresh and whole and not processed, that it's better for you.
Bon Appetit is the food services vendor for Colorado College, a national company thinking locally.
Last year we purchased 37% of all of our food purchasing local, and that was over $800,000 we spent in Colorado. One of our biggest projects that we have that I love is from the CC Student Garden. We give them money up front in the beginning of the year to pay their interns, and then they bring us back produce all summer long that they're growing. One of the best parts of the connections is when a farmer comes up to us and tells us that our purchasing is making a difference in their lives and what they want to do. And so to come back and tell the staff that we're really making a difference in the community is amazing.
So where we're standing will be a urban garden. We're working with Pikes Peak Urban Gardens to kind of help, and the idea there is to grow food for the food operation in here and keep it kind of in the neighborhood as much as we can. The group of folks that we've pulled together, there's a lot of collaboration. So the bakery, the food service part of it, and the brewery, there's a lot of byproduct almost. A lot of our spent grain will go into the ground for the urban gardens. It'll go into the bread at the bakery. So we're really trying to kind of integrate all this stuff.
Healthy food ties into the goal for an increasing number of us to have healthy lives, where longevity and quality of life are linked. Such a goal would rank our region in the top 10 of the nation and would mean healthcare becomes accessible and affordable.
The health aspect of cycling is amazing. Literally all you need to do is ride to the store. Instead of taking your car, hop on your bicycle. Go to one of your local bike shops, get fitted to your bicycle, make it nice and safe and as comfortable as you can, and in short order you will start including a wonderful form of exercise into your daily life, becoming more sustainable and even healthy at the same time.
The goal is to have an affordable, multimodal transportation system, which means we build using green practices and maintain infrastructure. We enhance connectivity. Our fuels are less fossil fuel based, and people willingly choose to drive single occupancy vehicles less often.
Since I have moved here in January of 2001, I have seen cycling be embraced by the community at a much deeper level. What that means to me is as I'm out commuting, as I'm out riding on the trails, I see more families, I see more people commuting to work that have never done that before. The message has finally been received by them that we do have infrastructure. With the city's bike map, people were being exposed to that, and now they're figuring out they can go places by bicycle, and for health reasons, to save gas, and it's just fun.
The bicycle thing is key, and even in our existing brewery, a lot of people ride in, and it's such a great location for cycling because you got the canyon right up there and downtown the other way. We'll have a lot more space for that. We want to do a bike valet program and kind of play around and see how that goes.
It takes a whole community. Fort Carson cannot do this alone. We collaborate with Colorado Springs Utilities, the City of Colorado Springs, the National Renewable Energy Lab, on a lot of the projects we're working out here.
And that's one of the most important things in entrepreneurship, is finding that common ground for which everyone can agree on.
It's taking care of the farmers, it's taking care of our guests by feeding them healthy food, and then trusting in turn that those people are taking care of the environment.
We need increased levels of awareness. We need increased levels of education.
I just look around this facility and I see so much that it's silly to just put it in the ground and it has no further use.
The alternative would have been to buy a big piece of property out east of town and throw up a metal building, and it just wasn't us. We really wanted to be part of something bigger, and I wouldn't have had the same passion for it. It would have just been all the numbers, and that's, we've never been about just the numbers.
Pikes Peak Region 2030. It's the path we take to get where we need to go. It's acting in a manner that improves our quality of life by balancing economic vitality and a healthy, vibrant community, at the same time remaining mindful stewards of our natural resources for current and future generations. Each of us has a role to play on that path. Choose what steps you can take, and let's all get started.